Let's talk about Windows Media, working with the Windows Media control. We're going to run this application here, and I turn the sound down so we don't hear me talking again because it's a video of me. We can just mute it before it even starts. You could adjust the volume. There we go. You could adjust the volume as you want to, and you can just skip through it and see how it works. Just works like regular Windows Media, as you would within the Windows Media Player. You can right-click to get some additional features as well. It's only in your own application here. I'll show you how we're going to do that. We'll just create a new project. This folder is going to be contained in your Windows Media folder at the root, at the project level. And then example 1 is what we're looking at. Example 2 is what we're going to create. And it's already created, so I'll actually just open that project. It's just a shell. All you do when you have that first project come in is you make this big enough to support what you're going to be adding. You go to your toolbox. You can see that I have this control at the bottom. You may not have that, so you need to right-click anywhere there in your toolbox and add remove items. You could do it from the project menu as well. It takes a little bit of time. I have a lot of controls. Then it pops up. We go to the COM side. Takes a little bit of time as well. And then you can see as we slide to the bottom, we'll find Windows Media. Mine will be checked. I'm going to work with the DLL, WMP DLL in System 32. We select that, and then we hit OK. You could also browse if you wanted to. So I already have that, so I don't have to hit OK again. So I cancel. And now I'm going to just draw my Windows Media. It takes a little bit of time. It does some work. You can see the solution is going to get updated. It needs to add some interop code. We'll get rid of that. And then we'll just place it, not really concern ourselves with the size, but you should be concerned with the size and making it fit the way you want to. And adjust things as you need to. And then what you can do is you can work with the properties to manipulate the properties. You can even set your properties on your form. You'll notice that we now have a Windows reference here to the Windows Media Player reference. And you can just double click on either here or up here. And you're going to get interop code. This is how it's going to interop with Windows Media as a COM control. And you can see that this is the interop for the library for Windows Media. Lots of interfaces that we can work with, that we do work with. And a lot of this is behind the scenes. This is how we model things from .NET to the COM universe. Well, anyway, you can peek in there as you wish, but you can right-click, get the properties. You can put your URL if you want to. Specify the URL that you want to find there. You can browse for that. I already have that here, so I'll just paste that in there. You can also do this at runtime by getting the variables, asking the user for a response to where they want to load a file from, for example. I'll tell you about a few more properties as well. You can have the controls come up. You can change this to the mini control at the bottom. You can have no control at the bottom. That's going to change the controls that you can see down below. If we do that, it's going to change the size of the form, so we won't do that. But you can make a change to have a mini controller, the full, which is the full way that we can see everything down here. Mini might be more your speed, or you can have no controller and then put your own buttons to control things, add your own controls to manipulate that particular video that's in there. Oftentimes none is appropriate for something where you want to embed it, but you don't want everyone to see that this is using the defaults, or give them all the options. You can mute this. At start, you can change the volume, the balance, etc. You can play it in full screen automatically. You can auto start, stretch to fit. Many different properties that you can work with. You can enable the controls. If you turn that off, you're not going to have them enabled, but you still see that it's over here on the controls layout. But they're not going to be enabled. You'd have to do that another way, set that programmatically. And the context menu would be right-clicking. If that's off, you can't right-click. And there are more options as well. This can have the current position start somewhere in the middle if you wanted to, or not so close to the edge if you wanted to as well. If you had some sort of intro and you didn't want it to be seen. Many different things that you can do on this level. This is going to be on the level of the actual control for the player itself. You can manipulate more properties in here if you wanted to, as you can see, and slide this over to get a better view. And you can see that the bold properties are set, and you can manipulate things as you want to. You see similar ones, URL, for example, and you can set this from within the code for your form or within your own methods and things like that. And as you can see, that's going to come in, and you can skip around and play it as you can play this as you like. So very easy to do that. Additionally, you can set up some events if you wanted to. For example, we'll just do something, the mouse down event. If you click that within this, if you double click here, it's going to set up a default event and pop you to the code. We'll just put a message box.show in there, and this is going to set up that event for us, mouse down event, default. And if we slide up, we'll see that the event is created within the Windows Form Designer as usual. We don't have to see that, but you can look if you wanted to. And we'll start the debugging process. Welcome to .NET Programming in C#. I'm Brian Max, guiding you through the wonderful world of C# programming and .NET programming. So anytime we click here, it's going to display that message box, which gets a little bit annoying because it deals with the controls too. So you can see that you can't really do much with that. But it's just showing you that when you do click there, that message box is going to go off. I'll just leave it there uncommented so it doesn't get on your nerves. Alright, so that's Windows Media getting started. There are advanced things you can do as well. You can control it via scripting, via coding, within the coding parts of the other controls and your form as you wish. And you just have to keep an eye on what properties you set. And you might want to take a look at some of the code that's going to the notes that are going to show you how to get those additional features to work.